Social Security COLAs are even better than you think. Oh, I'm sure it's going to trigger a lot of people. People are like, no, that's not true, Josh. Retirement is just a fantasy. It's going to trigger people like when I say it was Stouffer's stovetop stuffing instead of potatoes. Not stovetop stuffing. It was Stouffer's. You all know this if you watched football in the 80s. It was Stouffer's stovetop stuffing. We all know this. And yet people today say it never was. It never was. That's the Mandela effect. It's changed. They changed it. We all know it's Stouffer's stovetop stuffing. And people say, oh, you're triggering, Josh. You're triggering me because you recall you're misremembering things. No. We all know it's Stouffer's stovetop stuffing. But go look right now. You can actually look at the old videos and it won't show Stouffer's. Yet, you know it. I know it. Stouffer's stovetop stuffing instead of potatoes. No. All right. So I did a video about a couple weeks ago, and I think of Bill B or Bill S or Bob. Anyway, somebody had written a comment. He goes, doesn't that mean that Social Security cost of livings are actually better than what not we should get, but that they're actually better than what people think? And I said, absolutely. Now, I'm going to show you what I'm talking about here in just a second. I'm kind of going through this in my head. Obviously, I don't script these videos. I'll talk more about this live on the live stream. But, man, I wish people could just pull their head out and look around for just a second and just realize I mean, look at this, man. You don't need much to enjoy that right there. Look at that. Oh, good night. How much money do you need to enjoy the love of a dog? Well, the answer is just enough to feed him. All right, so let me show you what I'm working on. All right, so Social Security is based on CPIW, all right? And the Social Security COLAs are based on CPIW. That's for the wages of clerical workers and the salespeople. And it really only covers about 30% of the population, CPIW. All right, so this is what social CPI used to be CPIW, but it wasn't very encompassing. All right, so in basically 78 or so, this is where I think some people, shadow stats, whatnot, take issues. That Social Security said we're going to make it all encompassing for CPIU, which covers about 90% of the population. Hey, but for Social Security cost of living adjustments, it's not based on what you would understand as CPI, which is CPIU. It's not based on CPIE, which is CPI for elderly. It's based on CPIW. All right. Now, CPIW, I got my little chart here. If we look back, is just based on the third quarter of the previous year as well. So not only is it based on a small subset of the population, it's based on a small subset of that small subset, just the third quarter from basically July, August, September. That's it. Whatever those three months are, that's what your COLA is based on. All right, so I think it was 75 when they changed it, and I just did a little. Look, this is what I do, man. I enjoy this stuff. Even when I was working at other places, I just did spreadsheets. I enjoy it. I'm not a spreadsheet maven by any stretch of the imagination, but it's just interesting to me to see how things shake out. So anyway, I just copied and pasted what Social Security, and I took some time to find it, what the COLAs were. All right, again, based on CPIW for the third quarter of the previous year, and we're going to come down here. And we're going to say our Social Security COLAs have averaged 3.68% since 1975, which is when they started using CPIW. And then we're going to look at what the actually CPIU is. All right, and this is CPIU for the entire year, and it's pretty doggone close. 3.75 versus 3.68. So they're just there's not anything to gripe about. People say, oh, the CPIW is no, it's fine. Now, that's for Social Security, essentially, if you're 62 and over. If you're under 62, it's a whole different thing. It's the average wage index, which I'm not going to get in here. But anyway, so CPIW tracks CPIU, at least in terms of Social Security, pretty doggone close. All right. So then I said, what is the median household income? What is the total actual expenditures from the Consumer Expenditure Survey? All right, so what I'm going to show you here is the median household income, because we're going to go back to 2004 as our starting point. The median household income in the United States, and this is for every household that we have, was $44,684 in 2004 numbers. All right, the median household income in 2010 was $50,000. The median household income in 2014 was $53,000, and then in 2018 it was $68,000. I think now it's 70 something or 80,000. I don't know what it is. It doesn't matter because I'm just going back to 2019 because that's the last BLS consumer expenditure survey that we have. All right, so let me pause. What you'll see here is that over the 15 years from 2004 to 2009, our median household income grew from $44,000 to $68,000, essentially grew by 3.07% a year. All right, that's what the rate of growth was in median household income. All right, but what I want to do is I want to look at actual expenditures. All right, and we're taking this from right here. This is from the BLS Consumer Expenditure Survey. And we're going to start in 2004 with a household that's 65 years old to 74. 2009, that same household was 65 to 74. 2014, that household is now graduated to the elderly category of over 75. All right. So I want to show what I'm going to show you here. It's our actual dollars of spending. 65 to 74 was 36,000 bucks. All right. So basically 36 divided by 44, we were spending about 82% of the median household income. Now again, we are in the 65 to 74 category. All right. So a lot of us aren't working anymore, but some still are. Hope that makes sense. So then our spending went from 36,000 to 42,000, again, about a 3% increase. So we're still spending about 82% of the median household income. Hope that makes sense. So this is our spending, not our income, our spending in real dollars of that point, in actual dollars, I should say. All right, so now what I want to do is we're going to go to this chart from Social Security. Hold on a second. And if you're a data junkie like me, Social Security has so much data. It's freaking awesome. I love it. I can look at this all day long. It's just fun, dude. Anyway, so this is from facts and figures from 2004. Why are we using 2004? Because this is when, our 2004 is when we're starting our data set. All right, 2004 for 65 to 74-year-old people. All right, so facts and figures from 2004, and we're going to show you income of the aged population. All right, so bear with me just a second. This is for people who are over 65, so somewhat not quite as, because I'm using people over 75 in our expenditures. But either way, I still want to point this out because there's a significant data set that I'm going to use here. Percentage of the aged receiving Social Security benefits by relative importance of benefits to total income. 66% of the aged, 50% or more of their income comes from Social Security. 66% get 50% or more from Social Security. All right, so why is that important? Because we're going to go back to my spreadsheet, and I'm going to say of expenditures. Again, this is 65 to 74, and we're going to go down to 75 and above. But I'm saying basically we're going to start of expenditures. 50% of income comes from Social Security. And spending and income are going to be pretty close to the same here because, again, the median household income versus spending, and a lot of people aren't saving anymore when they're retired. Thus, their spending pretty much is equivalent to their income. So half of their income is coming from Social Security. So if they're spending, and again, I'm using these synonymously, spending and income is $36,000. Their income from Social Security is $18,000. Hope that makes sense. So again, that's actually probably less than what they're probably spending more of their income from Social Security. Because 66% of the population who is aged over the age of 65, 50% of their Social Security or more comes from 50% of their income or more comes from Social Security. All right, so let me show you what I'm doing. So we're 65 years old in 2004. We're spending $36,000 a year. 50% of that is coming from Social Security. Next year is basic CPI-U. Our expenditures are inflated with CPI-U, not CPIW, but CPI-U. All right, and this is F33. That's going to be CPI-U. You don't really need to remember that, but just I'm saying it. However, our Social Security is inflated not by CPIU, but by CPIW. Again, the 3 months of CPIW. So what's happening here is our expenditures are going up by 3.4 this year, but our COLA for Social Security went up by 4.1. So you can see Social Security now is giving us a bigger bang for the buck than it did the previous year. Social Security now represents 50.34% of our spending, whereas before it's 50%. Oh, but now we got right there in 2007, CPIW was less than CPIU. All right, so in this case, it went from 50.39 to 50%, 50.14. So you can see it went down. Anyway, the point being here is, at the end of the day, we're still, Social Security is giving us at least 50% of their income. In fact, in this case, it's 51% of our income. Now, we're a year old. Now we're our next category. Our actual expenditures, in this case, was $42,716. So what I'm doing here is I'm absolutely using real live data, 36,000, 42,000. I'm not using real live data here. I'm just increasing it based on CPIU, but I'm actually using real live data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics expenditures. 42,716 is what people reported. All right, so this is absolutely real live data. Now I'm giving Social Security. Oh, wait a second. We didn't get any increase in Social Security in 2009 because the CPIW was zero. Isn't that interesting? So even though our CPIU was down, I'm actually inflating it as if it were up because I'm using actual expenditures. All right. Anyway, so 42,716 is our expenditures in 2009. Our Social Security remained at 21,000 because we had no cost of living adjustment. So that meant we're getting less than half of our income from Social Security. And then again, oh no, another no cost of living adjustment for CPIW. But CPIU went up by 1.6%. So my Social Security stayed the same at $21,248, but my expenditures went up to $43,399, which means Social Security is covering less than 49% of my expenditures. And we keep doing this until we get down here to 2013, where Social Security now is only $22,723, but my expenditures are $46,415. So Social Security is only covering 48.96% of my total expenditures. What happened next, though? Next, our expenditures actually went down. Now we've graduated to the older population of over the age of 75. Our expenditures actually went down. This is in actual dollars. All right. Why did they go down? Well, many reasons. Our food consumption went down. Our housing consumption went down. Our mortgage interest went down. Our utilities actually went down a little bit, not much, a little bit. Our apparel went way down because look, dude, as I say all the time, I'm still using clothes from freaking who knows. Our transportation costs went way down because a number of people at 65 to 74 are still working. We're not. Finance charges went down. Our healthcare went up pretty significantly. Our entertainment budget went down. The amount of money we're putting into insurance, pensions, and Social Security went down. Interesting, huh? Our home value leveled off, though. Our taxes went down. No, our taxes went up a little bit. All right. We actually increased our debt a little, but we increased our net worth too. Anyway, you can see all that. So our expenditures went down a lot of times because we paid off our mortgage. We don't drive so much anymore. We don't eat as much anymore as we get older. We just don't. Now, that's not for everybody, I grant you, but this is in real life data. All right, so now I'm 75 years old. I'm spending $36,673 in my household. Oh, by the way, too, if we look at the household population, it was 1.9, now it's 1.6. So there are some people who are widows and widowers. It'd be a household, which means they eat less. Either way, my Social Security here at the end of the day is $23,109. Even though my spending went down, Social Security doesn't go down. It still pays me my CPIW, my Social Security COLA. And so now Social Security is and again, this is in actual dollars, amigos. Social Security now represents 63% of my total income or my total expenditures. And if we go back to this chart, it kind of makes sense. As you age, you spend less, and Social Security doesn't decline. It might not go up. As we can see, a couple years it didn't go up, but it doesn't go down. So if your spending goes down, the proportion of Social Security to your spending inherently goes up. So now Social Security represents almost 2/3 of my income at $23,109. Now, if we continue on, now my expenditures go up because what I show here. Actually, let me show you my book. I'm going to do in your life cycle: 45 to 54, 54 to 65, 55 to 64, 65 to 74, and over 75. Your expenditures go up in that 10-year life cycle. Then it goes down. Then it goes up. Then it goes down. Then it goes up. Then it goes down. Then it goes up. Because we're basically, there's 4 different units of Scanlon in this case. There's a 40 to 50-year-old Scanlon, the 50 to 60-year-old Scanlon, the 60 to 70-year-old Scanlon, and the over 70, 75-year-old Scanlon. Goes up, down, up, down, up, down. And that's what's happening here. All right, so now I'm 70, so at 75 here, I'm probably 80 here, and my expenditures are up from where they were before, but Social Security's gone up with it. So Social Security represents you can see now it's 58% of my expenditures, whereas before it was 48, then it was 63, and now because my expenditures are rising with inflation, essentially, Social Security is still a higher proportion of my expenditures than it was when I first started. And the reason, again, is that because their life cycle of expenditures. Your spending goes up, then falls. Then it goes up, then falls. Your Social Security just goes up. So if we chart that, it's pretty simple stuff, I grant you, but it's critically important. So we go like this. Here is your expenditures, goes up. Kind of like actually that's not the way I would really do it here. Kind of like a Charlie Brown t-shirt with the lines drawn. So it kind of goes like this. All right, that's kind of how it goes. That's your life cycle. But Social Security, on the other hand, goes just like this. There is no drop in Social Security, none. And as such, Social Security represents an even bigger proportion of your income, your expenditures, as you get older. And that includes healthcare too, by the way. I think that's interesting. And you should too. That should give you some pause to say, Social Security is actually a bigger benefit than what I anticipated. Anyway, love your thoughts. We're going to talk about this in the live stream here in about 2 hours. We'll see ya.